It's time for today's face-off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams, ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Let's go! Get out of the door! You want to run the man? Get out! Get out! Get out! I didn't touch you. You were on my. Come and touch me because my man's right there. Come and put your hands on me. I ain't driving crazy. But on my. I went to another lane. Get out of my face. What's that?
In this round, here's Quan LX.
Charles, we just watched a clip of a road rage incident, I believe, in Ohio.
Toledo.
And this lady was having a real angered moment because of some type of traffic altercation, I guess. And she decided to go back and get out of her vehicle, go back and approach these people's vehicle, cursing and making threats. Then a passenger in that vehicle gets out and confronts her as she's confronting the driver that he's riding the vehicle with. And she says to him, "My man is sitting right in the car. My husband's right there. My man's in the car," letting him know that if you do anything, my man to get out that car. And Charles, she hauls off and slaps that young man. And when she slaps him, he gives her this Muhammad Ali overhand right. And then it goes to Monday Night WWE Raw and picks her up and gives her the Undertaker moves on top of the back of her head. And she's laying there. Now, you didn't watch the ending of that, but you watched the ending of it. She's screaming her husband's name, "Kevin, Kevin, Kevin." He never gets out of the car. Charles, if I was that woman and my husband just watched me get my whooped and body slammed, and he never got out of the car, ain't nowhere in the hell he would ride home with me that day. She should have put him out on the curb with the snow. What kind of man, even though if your woman wrong, I understand she's being emotional, but you let your woman get knocked out, then body slam, suplex style on the back of her head, and you just stay in the car?
Well, I mean, we don't know what predicated the events. We don't know who was driving crazy. No amount of bad driving should ever lead to, and this is me being hypocritical, should ever lead to people jumping out of the car and fighting, right? Here, obviously she was mad about something. She jumped out and ran back to the car, which makes her the wrong party, right? Like, she got out of a car to instigate. She was running her mouth. She slapped the man from behind. Now, I will tell you from the way I was raised, right, you don't hit women. Even when I had an older sister, she liked to throw hands. And I would just make fun of her till she cried and left me alone, right? I would just take I'd block them. I wouldn't hit her back. We were latchkey kids at a very young age, right? We were, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. But I would never hit her because I don't think you hit women. And I get that legally, once she slapped him, he could engage in self-defense and probably slap her back. I think the body slam was a bit too much. Wow, so I see her as the wrong party, right? I also see him as wrong for body slamming a woman. I don't think a grown man needs to be doing that. But I don't appreciate the Kevin criticism, right? And I will tell you, because we don't know what Kevin been going through. We don't know if Kevin saw this as she's absolutely deserved. And I'm going to give you, for instance, this happened a while back, but I have been out of the car in some situations. I would never be the first person, and my wife gets mad. I can't do it around her. But I'm driving in Houston. There is about 30 cars in line to turn left, heavy traffic, right? And I get up to be the next car to go through the thing, and a guy comes in, cuts through 2 lanes, cuts in front of me, right? He doesn't wait in line. Then he makes a left, and he's driving all crazy, making sure nobody can get around him, all that. We catch a light. He sees me looking at him. He rolls down the window. He starts talking mess. So I roll down the window, and I'm listening to his wife tell him that he's driving like a clown and that he needs to calm down. Now, mind you, she wasn't saying it to me. She was appropriately mad at this guy driving insane. And I said, maybe you should listen to your wife, right? And maybe if this woman would have listened to Kevin, it shouldn't have happened. Now, he jumped out of the car. I got out of the car. The wife never got out of the car. When it was over, he went and got himself back in his car with his tail between his legs.
What was he driving?
He was driving like a little, like a 626 Mazda or something, a little
And
sedan.
what were you driving?
I was driving a truck.
What kind of truck?
Well, I think I was in, I don't remember if it was when I had my
Was
Esco
it better than what he was driving?
Oh, far better.
Well, then you should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, I mean, we got out of the car, wanted to fight.
You should be ashamed of
I'm going to get out the car and give him the opportunity.
And I'm going to tell you why you should be ashamed of yourself.
And then he went back in his car.
I'm going to tell you why you should be ashamed of yourself.
Why should I
because,
be?
see, you the kind of man that's the problem in America.
Okay.
That woman, when that window rolled down, that woman was defending you and getting on him. Why didn't you say to that woman, No, let me finish.
Defending me.
Let me
she
finish.
Was talking to him for driving like a lunatic.
And she was getting
on
him.
Everybody else on the road.
Let me finish. That woman was defending your position that he was in the wrong. Mm-hmm. And when you heard that she rolled down the window, why didn't you walk? Let me finish.
He rolled down the window, not her.
Can I finish? You just scared to death. Look at you, just scared to death. Why didn't you walk up and say, look, baby, what I'm driving is much better than what this fool is driving. Come on, get out that car and come ride with me.
Because I have a wife and I'm not trying to pick up other people.
I'll take you home, honey. You ain't got to ride with this fool, baby. I got a nice Tahoe over here.
Know why.
Let me make this point. Let me make this point, too.
Okay.
People, do not exit your vehicle in a road rage incident.
You absolutely should not.
And approach somebody else's car in a threatening manner. There are documented cases where people have gone up to other people's cars in road rage incidents, Charles, and kicked their door or punched the window and was shot to death, and the DA's office ruled it justifiable homicide.
Well, right here in Houston.
Do not jump out of your car and do that, because if you lose your life, nobody's going to be prosecuted and you go into the grave. Second point I want to make, Charles. Look, brothers, men, period. Even if your woman is emotional, she's wrong, you deal with her when y'all get home. But you don't let no man beat the hell out of your wife in your presence, and you sit your scary, sorry, rusty, raggedy behind in the car and never get out. You deal with your wife when she get home.
We don't
but
know
you
the
get
journey.
Out of that car and protect your wife. And I'm going to say this to you.
So what do you think about the man that hit the woman?
Can you imagine
what do you
if
think
they
about,
got kids? You let the mother of your children get a behind whoop in front of your face, and you keep your scary behind in the car? Oh, no.
What about the guy that supplexed the woman? You have criticism for him, or you just think beating women is okay?
Legally, by law, what he did was not illegal.
I would say
but morally, what he did was wrong.
Okay, at least
because once he punched her, that was not necessary to punch. But to pick her up and dump on her head like that, that was excessive. But I'm going to tell you something else. I've learned this from my grandmother when I was a little bitty boy. She said, son, there was a brother from my neighborhood, a legendary OG gangster named Fuzzy. And Fuzzy would always be arguing with Janice Jones, another woman in the neighborhood. They was always getting drunk. So Fuzzy was whooping this woman one day, and a brother across the street, Malcolm Kelly, jumped in to intervene to protect that woman. And that woman took a knife and stabbed Brother Malcolm and trying to defend her from the man. And my grandmother said this. She said, any man that will put his hands on a woman won't fight another man.
I'm going to tell you right now, a similar situation, an officer retired as a captain, Eddie Martin, I believe. I'm not remember, this was 25 years ago. He was arresting a woman, if it was Officer Martin, arresting a woman at 801 South, I remember the apartment complex, for arresting a man for beating a woman. He beat her pretty good, right? While he's arresting the man, the woman, the victim, runs back, gets a broom, and starts beating the officer on the back with the broom for arresting the husband that he was only there to arrest because she was getting beaten by the man she was defending. I mean, there are people, it's the burning bed syndrome. There are people that believe that their abuse is deserved or they accept it. But here,
I've met women like that.
But we've also, women, hold on. Women can abuse men. And we don't know what sort of abuse that Kevin was suffering, and we don't know.
To where you sit your behind in the car and watch your wife get Undertaker suplex,
you know what?
WWE Monday Night Raw style on the back of her head, and you sit your scary ass in the car and don't get out to protect your wife?
I mean, I wouldn't see
at least get out
there.
and grab your wife and shut her up and put her back in the car.
I mean, look, I wouldn't have sat in my car, but I don't think we can judge this man. And I mean, you're absolutely right. We had an incident here in Houston where a man got out because of a road rage incident. No matter who, doesn't matter who's right or wrong, right? Approached a car with a gun in his hand. Now, he was just waving the gun. He wasn't pointing at the guy, but he walked up with a gun. So that guy pulled out a gun and shot him in the throat and killed him, right? We had a horrible incident where a father got in some sort of argument with some gangbanger here. It was a Latino known gang member. The gang member, leaving an Astros game, pulled out a gun, shooting at the dad, and killed a young teenager sitting in the back seat. And I will tell you,
for the sake of transparency, that was my client.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead.
Well, he murdered a little kid, or a teenager. But at the end of the day, it's so nice that I don't defend criminals anymore, and I can just talk about criminals on TV because criminals are awful people. But at the end of the day, you're right in that none of it is that important. Like I had to listen to my wife. I had to stop getting mad about driving. People are going to drive bad because they're stupid people, and you got to accept that the world is filled with stupid people. And thank God they're stupid
because they make you get beat up.
I wouldn't do
car?
that. Well, you don't know what Kevin's gone through.
Kevin, the least you could have did, Kevin, if you're listening, sir, you should have got yourself out that car, walked up to your wife, and took a page from the Pimpin' Ken Chronicles, the Bishop Don Magic Wand Chronicles, give her that 45th Street backhand, crossed that small part of the chin, took her to the car, set her down, and when she woke up, she'd be at home, and then tell her, baby, it was necessary to save your life.
I disagree with all of that. What he basically just said was hitting women was wrong, but that
I didn't say that.
I
said that he should have took the right steps to save her life.
Violence.
Look, the Kenny Red backhand, the female black hand, or that slam on the back of your head.
Hey, let's not get in road rage incidents, and let's most certainly not hit women.
Kevin, do a better job.
I'm Detective Mizzou. I'm the one who's been investigating the crash. You're under arrest for aggravated murder ×2, okay? Nobody's gonna ask you any questions. Nobody's gonna bother you. Can I have your key, please?
Could you please be careful taking this one off so it doesn't break the bracelet, please?
You got it. You got it. No.
Thank you.
You got it. Okay, just keep your hands right here. I'm not gonna tighten these, okay? I don't want to hurt you. You good? Are they good? Thank you. All right. This screws are right here.
Actually, he took her out of the car, and we did not.
Okay. Do you have anything else? Like that? That's your head going in.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
All right, Quanell, we should entitle this episode, Becky's from Ohio Behaving Poorly with Cars, right? So this is Strongsville, Ohio. It was a Mackenzie, not a Becky, Mackenzie Sharilla. The video's from 2022, but it was just released because her trial's over. She got life for murder. I think we have the picture of the vehicle. If we could throw that up when you get a chance, Matt. But she apparently intentionally wrecked this car with her boyfriend and his best friend in it, killing both of them, somehow managing to survive herself. That video was from her arrest after the fact, where she is concerned about her bracelets. She's concerned about her handcuff placement. She did not sound at all concerned about the two people whose lives she just took in what most certainly was likely yet another incident of someone behind the wheel of a car getting very, very angry and making the worst possible decisions. It's absolutely heartbreaking that those people died. What's not heartbreaking is that a murderer got herself life in prison. We're not seeing that happen nearly often enough in this country right now, with murderers either getting away with it or getting a little wrist slap. I am glad that the justice was delivered for Mackenzie, not Becky.
You know, Charles, whenever we point out white privilege, people like you always say, no, it's not. Those brothers and sisters in America that just watched that video, we watched a woman who had just murdered 2 people handcuffed in front of her. Not behind her, handcuffed in front of her. And did you hear how polite and kind and cordial and caring the officers were when they spoke to her? Nobody's going to hurt you. Are the handcuffs too tight? Let me loosen them up. Are you good? And this is a double murderer. This is a double killer. And then he said to her, and we're going to escort you right over here. And, watch your head as you get in. And that's called the complexion for the protection.
She got life in prison.
And Becky really believed that she was so privileged, she could say to the police, loosen the handcuffs. I don't want to break this bracelet right here. And this fool cop loosened the handcuffs and asked her, are you good? Is that okay? Are you good? That's a disgrace. I guarantee you, had that been a black or brown woman that was being arrested for double homicide, double murder, I assure you, them cops would have handled that black or brown sister completely different, and the conversational tone with the suspect would have been completely different. That's what we talk about when we say white privilege.
Do you want me to? Actually, what that was good policing, right?
Oh,
and
when white folks get treated like that, it's good policing.
No,
when black folk get it, oh, it's necessary, they're dangerous.
Okay, again, you're just making up words and having a
oh, yeah, we just watched that video.
Where one of us has profiteered off this kind of stuff.
We just watched that video.
And one of us has fought for police reform for decades. That would be me.
And you represented criminals and profited from it.
Hold on.
So you, too, are a profiteer from criminal behavior in America.
I've dedicated my life to criminal justice. Yes, I've made money off it, but that's not my point. My point is
you brought the point up.
You're criticizing the police inauthentically for behaving appropriately. Let me tell you why. This was a case that presents itself as a horrible car accident, right? And the only way they're going to make this case, the only surefire way, is to be nice to the suspect, keep the suspect talking, and get the suspect to confess to the crime. What those policemen, it looked like all men, were doing, those police officers, is they were appropriately interacting with the suspect in a manner that would encourage her to give the confession that they wanted. It was all actually good policing.
Let me tell you why you're wrong. Because before she ever went to the jail, he told her, you are being arrested for 2 counts of murder.
I get that, but
you're
being
hold on, stop.
No one's going to talk to you.
You're being
stop.
You're being arrested for 2 counts of murder, and therefore that means that the police got on the phone with the DA's office, told them what they had, told them what they had witnessed, what they had been told, and they accepted murder charges of 2 counts on her. Then told her, no one's going to talk to you. No one's going to bother you. So, Charles, what you just said is a bunch of BS.
Absolutely not.
They already had the case on this woman, and that's why the charges never changed from what they were, and she was convicted.
Every police officer to be nice and polite to everyone, not just little 17-year-old white girls.
We do want
to
that.
everyone.
But
in this
Becky
situation,
and Ashley
her name's Mackenzie.
And Mackenzie got a whole different style of treatment.
No, she didn't. She
Then
got
what
life.
then what Jaquela would have gotten?
She got life in prison.
Oh, she was treated real nice.
That's real white privilege.
The courtroom
life
treated
in
her
prison.
different, but those cops on the scene,
Hey,
oh no, baby.
I hope every cop always
Handcuffed
interacts that
like
way.
this.
And the fact that you're
Handcuffed like
criticizing
this.
is just you
Handcuffed
being
like
a bigot.
this for double murder.
The truth is that men should never hit women. Whether Quanell said it in a jocular manner about that first incident, it should absolutely never happen. That it's just not something that any man should be doing. We should also, he was right when he said we shouldn't let driving get us so mad that we're getting in a violent rage and approaching other people's vehicles. It's a horrible idea. It's how a lot of people lose their lives. Finally, we should all be applauding the officers in the way they interacted with that young murderer. Right? Officers should always be polite when they have the ability to be polite, and they should always talk to suspects in a manner that will lead to them giving them the information they want. She got life in prison. It wasn't about privilege, it was about justice.
Any woman that gets whooped and beat up by another man, and your man is sitting there watching and does not intervene to protect you, you crazy as hell to remain with him. If you let a man that you claim is your man watch you get whooped and you go home and cook for him, well then, honey, you brought it on yourself. Now, you and I all know, brothers and sisters, had that been a black woman or a brown woman, double homicide, they wouldn't have been so cordial and so kind and so nice. They gave her complexion for the protection privilege, and she absolute got it. Thank God we got it on video so we could all see white privilege at its finest.
That's it for the Face Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.